I love you. Have a good day. This life's been kind to me, and I've got to change. To stop taking it for granted. I should have looked at this view more. I'll do that from now on. The little things matter. Take this elevator button. Someone made it look that way, and I never even thought about it once. There are so many things I've never really looked at. Things that work perfectly, but I just ignore. I get stuck in patterns, doing the same thing every day. It feels like I'm locked in. I'm going to change things. I don't feel like I chose to be here, but it is a good place. Some routine is good, sure. But, I don't know. We're getting lazy, I don't want that. It was easy to get lazy, to let things fall slowly into a dull routine. Living carefree has been good, but it's not going anywhere. It's time to take control. I always smile when I see that place. Maybe we'll go there tonight. Maybe we'll go feed the ducks this weekend. I love the way they walk. He's got to know how I feel about him. I love him so much. Patterns. Every day the same start. Harry never wakes up from my alarm. I think of these routines as optimized living, like they allow me time to focus on other things. But I've not been doing that. I feel like I've barely glanced at this picture for years. I love it as much as when I first saw it. Harry likes me in this t-shirt. The same stories I've carried with me for years between houses. I'm grateful for everything we have, but probably not as much as I should be. It would be easy to think I wasn't happy. I am, I think. I mustn't let it slide away. I feel like I should try to break patterns. I usually use the bathroom first. One change at a time. No pointless changes. It's time to get with the program. I believe in this relationship. Time to show it. I should ask Harry to marry me. Yeah, that feels right. Marriage. When I was at uni, I loved Sarah, but I didn't feel this way. I loved her, do love her, but not how I feel about Harry.
My first day at university. My parents drove me in a car stuffed full of everything I owned. I'd been a bit nervous all day, but I felt full-on terrified when we got to the student village. I was faking a look of confidence. I doubt anyone noticed. Probably everyone else was too. Paul is my mum's boyfriend. He liked Will. My biological dad probably wouldn't have. Looking at all my things in the boot of the car, I never knew I had so much stuff. I think Mum or Paul must have picked up the keys from somewhere. Weird that I don't remember how we got them now. I went up first. Walking into my dorm room for the first time, I kind of remember how it felt for me. I never thought back then how it would have felt for Mum and Paul. Soon they were going to drive away and go home to an empty house. Just a few more boxes, and their kid wouldn't be living with them anymore. I was floating through unpacking, thinking about that space upstairs. My room had probably the cheapest carpet in the world. It was awful. They might as well have painted concrete, but it was my room and amazing. It had 4 walls and a door that I could lock. I was frightened, sure, but also excited. I had my own key and all the stuff that goes with that. I wondered if anyone was going to be interested in me. Smartish, pretty, but pretty bland. I was trying hard to be more. Not only in the background of every scene. I didn't see that we all were pretending, really. Actually, cute's the right word. I didn't really think about sexy back then, I guess. It's funny to think back, like this, now. Will must have been in the lectures over the first few weeks, but I didn't notice him, if I'm honest. I was so busy with everything and just learning how to live, do laundry, cook every day, that kind of thing. I next remember seeing Will through the window of the Union Bar. I recognised him then from the first day, and I remembered liking how he'd look back at me then. The music scene was good back then. Blur, Pulp, Elastica, Thingy, Suede. All those bands were great. Not that the Union played them much. It was more dancey in there. It was a typical Friday. Crowded, with the windows dripping with condensation, cheap spilled drinks making the floor sticky. After I'd seen him at the window, I wanted to talk to him. Maybe more. I pretty much went on the hunt. It's tricky when you're not very tall and the lights are low. It was hard to spot Will in the crowd. It had only been a few weeks, but I felt like a new woman already. Or I was on my way, at least. I know it sounds weird, but I always felt that Will was a good person. The kind of person I wanted to be around. It was true, too. I joined in whatever the conversation was that Will was having. I've no idea what we talked about. I don't think there was any doubt about my intentions. It was hard to talk over the music. We had a couple of drinks, and then I remember pulling him outside. You know the feeling, the rush of anticipation? I was getting that so much. It was cold, but in a welcome way. We went to sit for a moment, to look at the view. And that was when he first kissed me. Our first proper date was to the cinema. We had seats in the middle of the cinema. It didn't help my nerves much having everyone nearby. We sat there fidgeting, wanting to touch but scared to. I kept on trying to look at him from the side to see if he was looking at me. I shifted in my seat a bit, letting my leg touch his. I was so smooth. When I went to hold his hand, he moved his away, but I think that was by accident. We ignored the film, pretty much. It was that silly action one, with that guy who always acts crazy, thingamy. It was like everything else faded out. I plucked up the courage and put my hand on his leg, and he gave me one of his lovely shy smiles. He put his hand on the side of my face, just gently on the skin, turning me to face him. He closed his eyes and kissed me, placing his lips softly onto mine. We locked our fingers together and watched the rest of the film. We didn't let go until ages after we left the cinema. Even as we left, there was something else there. Did you ever have a love that you felt so strongly that you knew it had to end? Will always gave the impression of confidence, like he always had a grand plan. I wish I knew if he saw that end coming too, like I felt it was. I don't know if that would have made how it went any easier. I spent the next day finally doing the unpacking that I'd been putting off. I'd done my clothes and the essentials, but there were other bits to be done. I think I brought my old books as a comfort thing. I didn't really expect to read them at uni. They were just nice to have around. I put candles out. I think I thought I'd need to do romantic lighting. I had arranged to see Will later in the week. I was really falling for him. Is it weird to tell you this? When I was born, someone from my mum's work gave me a toy bunny. I know it's silly, but it makes me happy. My mum and biological dad split when I was 6. It was rough for a bit, but Mum, me and my brother Andy pretty quickly were happier for it. My bunny makes me think of those good times. My mum gave me a tasselled cloth scarf to remind me of home. She's a right hippie. I kept on changing my mind. It shouldn't have mattered so much, but I wanted the place to look nice. I must have spent ages just shifting stuff around. The little choices are important. I guess it didn't make any difference really, but I was happy when I was sure I'd got it right. I wanted to feel comfortable when Will came over. Will and I, it felt like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, and just as likely to burn us both as to make us happy. But what a lovely way to burn. That Christmas, I met Will's family. We'd been together for 4 months. Do you remember me there? I was so worried I was going to say something and embarrass myself. I was much more shy back then, and I was really in love with Will, and I wanted to make sure I didn't mess anything up. We were still at that stage where you constantly want to touch the other person. I loved that, but I didn't reach out with his family or there. I got nice shivers when he touched me as he poured my wine. The meal went well, I think. You only get to make one first impression, so I probably should have worn something else. I felt quite self-conscious. I loved him so much, but that feeling I had wouldn't go away, that it was all going to end. That Christmas Day, though, I felt like we had a chance. Things were going well. But over the months, I felt the relationship changing. I think we both could feel that an end was going to be inevitable. But we still were in love. Though sometimes lonely, in a weird way. It felt like we were the only people in the world. Maybe I didn't mind Will getting closer to Harry because it felt like our own love was too much for two people. We would cuddle up in bed and watch TV or movies. Coronation Street had a transgender character. It wasn't something I'd thought much about before. I'd never had to think about my sexuality much. I'm straight, and as far as I knew, my friends up until that time all had been too. I just accepted Will for who he was, regardless of his sexuality. It's funny to tell you this now, but I was never jealous of Harry. You'd think I would be, but I loved Will so much. I just wanted him to be happy. We were all, Will, Harry and me, studying on the same English degree. There was a spark between Will and Harry, that much was obvious. Will was always happy when Harry was around. I couldn't feel jealous. I wanted him, them, to be happy. I'll never forget that time, seeing their friendship grow. We would listen to music as we fell asleep. Do you remember Enigma? Monks chanting and electronic stuff. We'd put that on a lot and just let ourselves drift off to the music. We listened to a lot of Portishead. Even now when I listen to them, I remember being back in that room, in his arms. The longer we dated, the more we stayed in. We had a few friends that we'd go out for drinks with, and Harry, but Will and me spent most of our time together. It still makes me smile, thinking of that room and those days. It might seem odd to you, but it was my suggestion. I told Will to ask out Harry. I loved him, I knew it would make us all happy for Will to have Harry in his life. It was something he needed to do. Helping a person find their true love, that's an honour. It's a kind of magic right there. For a long time though, I wish that true love had been me. For you, of the end. Will had been seeing both me and Harry at the same time for about 6 months. I can see you think that sounds weird, but it really wasn't. We were all open, safe, and honest about it. The picture. It was October, and we met in the basement of the Royal Oak. Smoking was still allowed in pubs, and the faint smell clung to everything. The basement was crowded with heavy oak furniture, with the wood grain sealed away under layers of old varnish. The chairs were covered with a tapestry weaving type of fabric that was worn away from years of use. I knew what I was going to say to Will. I had a friend before uni who was having boyfriend problems and asked me what love is. I told her that love was being able to tell a person that you never wanted to see them again. Even though it broke your heart to do it, you would tell them to leave you because it was right. I was quite happy with that answer, like love was something from a Shakespearean tragedy. I don't know why they asked me. I'd never been in love when I said that. I didn't think I'd have to do it myself one day. I didn't expect to be right. We need to talk.
Oh?
This needs to change.
You mean us?
I feel like I'm getting in your way.
You're not. This is good.
Sure, but I don't know if it's good for you.
I'd like to be the one making that choice.
I'm happy with you. I love you, but this isn't about me.
I love you too. I want to be with you.
I know, but I don't think you should be.
Is this it? Can I do anything differently?
No. But thank you for wanting to.
I don't want this.
Me either. But it's right.
I love you.
I love you too. I was so in love. I can't tell you how much it hurt to let him go. I never forgot him. I never stopped loving him. Love doesn't just stop. It's not like a room you just walk out of. Our love, the warmth of it, became a memory I cherish. I've never loved anyone like that again. It took me 2 years to get over Will. I saw him falling deeper and deeper in love with Harry. Maybe we all could have kept on dating together the way we were. I didn't think of that as an option at the time. 2 years is a long time. I focused on my courses, got a first-class honours degree. That was a plus of feeling desperately alone.
I loved Sarah. I still do, but not the same as I did then. We go for drinks a few times a year. She's wonderful. It's easy to see why we dated. The breakup was hard for me, but worse for Sarah. Would it have been easier for her if Harry was a woman instead? Actually, knowing Sarah, probably not. It wasn't about that. The pain she went through. I don't want to do that to anyone ever again. Especially not Harry. These stupid, mundane things. I'm stuck here. I'm going to piss him off eventually. Attraction isn't a switch. Love is just a thing inside us. I still fancy other people, of course. Everyone does. I'm only going to fuck it up. Again. He'd be an idiot to marry me. T. Tea solves everything, if you believe my grandma. Sarah's fine, now. But we were young. She had time to move on. Maybe I should leave Harry before it's too late for him. Grandma would have told me to man up.
Naturally, as Will's grandmother, I visited Will in hospital on the first day that he was born. James, Will's father, handed him to me, wrapped in a little blue blanket. I'll never forget that moment. He was such a handsome baby. James ran 3 London pubs in the 1980s. Of that punk sort. He looked awful with that leather jacket and those sort of things. That's not the sort of thing for children. so I would babysit as often as possible to make sure he had someone normal in his life. Sharon was an art teacher. She always had her nose in a magazine full of pictures. It's not the way to inspire a young man to a career, if you ask me. Will's birth wasn't very easy, but he got here. He was never going to have brothers or sisters after, though. Sharon, Will's mother, met my James when he was working in London. She's American. They broke up for 3 years, and she took Will to America with her. There was always music playing when I got to the house. Some awful racket. Not the sort of thing a child should be hearing. I always turned it off. It's good for a young boy to be outdoors, but Will never really liked that when he was young. James loved such peculiar books, all those horror things. That one about the rats. Dreadful things, really. I don't know what he saw in them. I loved Will. I always just wanted him to have the best possible start and to be successful. I suppose I sound awful, saying his parents were doing everything wrong. I remember that evening. Will had been quieter than usual. He told me that he'd been in a fight. Another boy had been calling a girl names because she had dark skin. Will had tried to stop the other boy, but he had been punched in the stomach. I asked him if he had cried, and he said yes. I told him that big boys don't cry. I remember him asking me then, what do big boys do when they're sad? When he was grown up, I told him he would be a good man. He would be able to stand up to others. He had done the right thing, I told him, even though it hurt him that time. Looking back, I don't think he seemed very comforted. Will tripped over his toy van when he was going to bed. I remember carrying him. He was trying so hard not to cry. He was so small in my arms. I've never forgotten that feeling. I have so many little memories making up our lives together. It's odd what sticks with you, though. I took him to bed to read him a story. He liked ghost stories, but I thought he was too young for them. He would get very scared after the light was out. Sharon kept on buying him more, though. I made sure he could see me looking carefully. He would never settle properly until I had checked the room for ghosts. I remember that night because I promised him then that I would always be there for him, to protect him regardless of anything. He probably thought I meant about ghosts, but I meant it for everything. It's not the kind of promise you forget. I'd been reading him Grimm's fairy tales. I didn't like all the updated nonsense they'd been putting into stories back then. There was a short, very strange story that night, called The Ungrateful Son. I think it went something like this. Once upon a time, a man and his wife were eating a roast chicken for dinner. When the man saw his father, a very old man, walking along the road towards them, the man didn't want to share, and so he hid the chicken out of sight. The man's father arrived, bid them good day, and continued on his way. The man was very happy and so told his wife to put the chicken on the table again. But the chicken had transformed into a giant toad, which leapt onto the face of the man. The toad wouldn't leave his face and hissed at the wife when she came near, so she didn't dare approach to help. The man had to feed the toad every day from then on, or it would bite his face, and he never rested for the remainder of his life. That was a very strange story. Will was asleep before I finished it, which was probably a good thing. It left me in an odd mood. I wondered how long I would be able to keep him safe. I knew I would do my best to help him find his place in the world. Any other grandmother would try to do the same. I could still see him sleeping there now, like it was only yesterday. I never thought it would be easy, but I had raised James, so I thought I would be ready for anything from my grandson Will. The world changes so quickly. I remember the family visiting me when Will was a teenager. Do you know Al Martino's Here in My Heart? He had such a lovely voice. It was playing when Robert first kissed me. Robert would hum it to me sometimes. I started a small collection of glass animals many years ago. I would buy a new one whenever I went to Brighton. It's good to get out of the house, enjoy the fresh sea air. My husband Robert was a writer. Sadly, he died before Will really knew him. He could have gone far if he'd applied himself a bit more. After James had grown up, I went to New Zealand to visit distant family over there. It was a very long trip in those days, but it's important to keep in touch. We're all so spread apart in our lives now, don't you think? It was only a matter of time back then before Diana divorced Charles. She'd done that interview, and we all knew it was coming. Sometimes people treat us old people like we have nothing to say, so I started the conversation.
I think it's sad. She was bullied into all of this from the beginning.
The rest of the conversation didn't go well. Will frustrated me so much. Sharon didn't join in, but it wasn't hard to imagine what an American might think of it all. James wasn't much help. He's always held liberal views on things. I wish I hadn't even tried. They didn't want to hear my views. I said that I was going to make some tea. No one offered to help. I didn't really want tea. I don't think they wanted it either. But I needed to do something. I know it seems like a small thing, but maybe it was the first time that I felt apart from Will. James and Sharon both held their own views. I knew that. But Will... I wish Will understood that you've got to fit in to get along in life. Back then, society worked by all getting along. You kept your head down. It's easier to stand up from the crowd now, but... well, I don't think it's right. We didn't have all these choices, and we all turned out well enough. I was worried about him, getting all these views. It could get him into trouble. I was so scared that Will was going to go off half-cocked and make a mess of his life. I let the tea brew. And I cried for him. He was young, but he was old enough too. He was going to make mistakes, and I wouldn't be able to stop him. I knew something had been broken that day between Will and I. I took a deep breath and pulled myself together. It simply doesn't do to let others see you get upset. I've lived alone since a little time after Will was born. That was when Robert passed away. I missed him, of course. Yet it was tolerable until then. But then, after we disagreed, I felt so distant from them all. It was terrible. My generation has different values. Oh, goodness, I know that. But I very much believe that they are good. I wasn't prepared to accept that Will wasn't going to talk to me anymore. His views... I felt he was putting his future at risk. Those views, liberalism and such like, I knew he would change his mind as he got older. But before he changed, what damage would he do to his options? I was nervous about that Christmas. We hadn't been close for a while. I remember a Christmas after Will had gone to university, but we were all coming back together for the holiday. I kept in touch with a lot of friends. We didn't have email, of course, but even now they just aren't as good as a real letter. It's a lot of work making a house look welcoming, but it was good to be busy. I wanted the house to look perfect. Will was going to bring a girlfriend, Sarah, and I wanted her to get the right impression. My family arrived just as the Christmas lunch was ready. It was perfect timing. Did I tell you that Sharon and James split up for 3 years once? Will spent the time in America with her family. It was hard for me not seeing him. He was 10 and, like most boys, he wasn't interested in writing many letters. James is most definitely Robert's son. Kind, but capable of so much more than he does. Sarah seemed a little shy, but she was lovely. She told us about her university courses and was thoroughly charming. I hadn't seen Will since he left. I wanted him to understand I wanted the best for him. I always wanted that, no matter if he disagreed with me. Will was a perfect gentleman. He was so courteous and attentive. It filled me with pride and hope to see him that day. He was becoming the man I had hoped he would be. With Sarah, I hoped he would be on track to a normal life. But that was the last time I saw her. The next summer, I went to visit Will at university. I always like to arrive on time. It's just polite. So I had left plenty of time for the drive down to see him. I arrived early and decided to have a look at the campus. It was my first time there and the buildings looked lovely. There were so many young people there, all full of life and excited about the future. Lots of beautiful girls around, and I was hoping I might spot Sarah. I never went to university. It wasn't like it is now, where it seems normal to go. It was nice to see so many people improving their lives. I noticed Will from a distance. I've always thought he stood out in a crowd. At first, I couldn't see what he was doing. Then I saw that he was holding hands with a man. And then they kissed, out in the open where anyone could see. After everything I had tried to teach him, he went and did that. I couldn't believe it. I knew those views of his would get him in trouble. I left right away. What was I supposed to say to him then? Will hadn't seen me. I simply had no idea how I could be expected to act like everything would be okay for him. He was still so young. There are people out there who won't accept that sort of thing. The university suddenly seemed like a place full of smug, self-satisfied people. Ugly. All those petty children doing whatever they wanted, ignoring the responsibility of the freedoms my generation got for them. I could barely stay civil with anyone there. He had made me furious. He was putting himself in danger after everything I had done for him. That sort of thing. It all just feels wrong to me. Sorry, but that's just the way I feel about this. I barely saw Will for the next few years. I couldn't bring myself to talk to him. I suppose it was silly of me. He had gone travelling after university, and I stayed at my house. I said that my husband Robert had died when Will was young, didn't I? It's sometimes hard not to live in the past when you have so much time to yourself. I had such hopes for Will, and all the things that he would be when he was a man. He probably never really understood how much I loved him when he was growing up. I remember so clearly before he changed, when he was just a happy little boy. But life goes on. I was working in the garden. Things go wild if you leave them too long. Will would occasionally send me a postcard from somewhere foreign on his travels. I was still angry at him, but I worried too. He was just off somewhere, before the travel writing became his job. I got up to answer it and tripped, twisting my ankle in the garden. It hurt like the blazes. I couldn't do a thing. The doorbell went again, but it hurt too much to move. I called out for help. I heard footsteps around the side of the house. It was Will, coming to visit me. He'd come back from travelling. I'd ignored him for so long. I never made the effort to reach out to him, but he never gave up on me.
It'll be all right.
He looked after me anyway. I saw the kind boy that I knew inside the man he had become. I don't claim that I'll ever fully be able to approve of some things,
Let's get you inside.
but I had missed something, distracted by just one part of him. I missed that he was the kind, strong, loving man I had always wanted him to be. The best sort of man. He was even kind to a fool like me. I'll never forget that.
It took a long time, but Grandma sees I'm still me, and that I really am in love. I don't know if she'll ever be fully comfortable with Harry and I, but she's growing too. Maybe for the first time in a very long time. You've got to take responsibility for your life. That's what Grandma taught me. I can't keep fighting for some life of adventure that I don't know even exists. This life, right here, is an adventure. Opening my heart feels dangerous and exciting. I want to always feel this way. And with Harry, I think I will. Marriage is the right choice. I've held back too long with him, thinking about what would change. But that's meaningless, really. I know I want him in my life forever. We could start a family. Actually, that's not a bad idea. One thing at a time, though, hey? He's never said he wants this as such. Starting a family together. Actually, that feels right to me. first day of the rest of my life. Keys. First step of a long journey. It's going to be wonderful. I love you. Have a good day. This life's been kind to me, and I've got to change, to stop taking it for granted. I should have looked at this view more. I'll do that from now on. The little things matter. Take this elevator button. Someone made it look that way, and I never even thought about it once. There are so many things I've never really looked at. Things that work perfectly, but I just ignore. I get stuck in patterns, doing the same thing every day. It feels like I'm locked in. I'm going to change things. I don't feel like I chose to be here, but it is a good place. Some routine is good, sure. But, I don't know. We're getting lazy. I don't want that. It was easy to get lazy, to let things fall slowly into a dull routine. Living carefree has been good, but it's not going anywhere. It's time to take control. I always smile when I see that place. Maybe we'll go there tonight. Maybe we'll go feed the ducks this weekend. I love the way they walk. He's got to know how I feel about him. I love him so much.
Always our day together. We worked too much during the week to see each other often, so on Sundays we would go to feed the ducks. I wish we hadn't worked so hard. It was our place to be together. This whole place makes me think of him. He would quack at the ducks. He pretended to have conversations with them, and that we saw the same ones every week. He began to set up little stories between them. It was the end of the summer, but we went there even in the winter. It was out in the open. We felt free there. And then one day, he was gone. The crash investigators don't know whose fault it was. I just can't get myself to feel that it matters. He was driving, and now he's... They took him to hospital. Someone called me, but I don't remember who. And I don't remember how I got to the hospital. He was dead when I arrived. He loved travelling. I was the one who collected the souvenirs. I wanted to make this our home. It's only mine now. And I don't really want it anymore. I don't need 2 toothbrushes here anymore. We would lie in bed and read, our breathing sinking. He would close his book, kiss me, and fall asleep. When friends come to visit me, they speak to me in a quiet voice, as if a loud sound might startle me. They ask about the missing objects. I say, I'm going for a minimalist look. They nod and give me a strange smile, but I know they don't believe me. They know the reminders hurt too much. I've been walking more since he died. I've been trying to get away from the memories to find something new, but everywhere I go, I see things that make me think of him. I'm not ready to sit at a table for one yet, staring at an empty seat. His Singing in the Rain impersonation was wonderfully dreadful. I never worked out if he was trying to be bad at it, or if it was a natural lack of talent. I decided to stay inside more. Keep to the inside. I can control what's in here. But even at work there are reminders. I need this space to be clear, so I can be free. Get rid of all these things. I'll get new things, things that I didn't use with him. I know what they mean by heartbroken now. I feel like something is crying in my chest, making me feel only cold inside. He'd want me to be happy, but I can't be. Not living like this. We had the rest of our lives. I had his life, but he won't have mine. I don't understand any of this. I'm nearly there. It's all gone. He's gone, but he's not. I can't get rid of him. Why won't he leave me alone? I'm different now. He changed me. I feel the space he's left inside me. But it's okay. It's his shape. That's going to be part of me that I carry forever. Denying that would be killing him again. It's okay to long for him still, but I know it's okay to live again too. He would laugh at me now, crying over silly things, and hug me too, and hold me. I wish he could hold me again. I can still hear his voice reading his favourite books to me as I drifted off to sleep. Our lives are written into the small things all around me. Maybe they'll carry another story someday, but it's enough to have those memories here for the moment. I don't know if this world is all there is, but the time with him meant something. It was special to me. That time will never happen again.
I'll never forget him. He reached out to me when I'd pushed him away. Once I looked after him, but that day he looked after me. He showed me a whole world I had never seen before.
Okay, so this is the mouse.
He often visited over the years. He was growing up, and the world was changing too. He was becoming mature. And then you came to see me. And then you told me what had happened.
It's one of those strange things. I had just been thinking about Will. We kept in touch a little, then a few years later became friends again when he was working based out of London. It felt good to have him in my life again. He talked about you both often, and his life in general. He told me how happy he was. And then you called me. Hello? He was happy at the end.
He loved you both so much. I still keep on thinking I'll see him again, or that he's walking beside me just in the corner of my eye. It's silly, really. I couldn't understand how life could be so cruel, taking him away. But life wasn't cruel. Life gave him to us to begin with, even with so few moments. We could love him. We always will. After we had talked, I went back to the park, to the place where Will and I had spent so much time together. They had shared fragments of his life with me that I had never known. I felt a kind of peace. Talking with them, even without Will, I felt I wasn't so alone. I was never alone. I just needed to reach out. Sometimes we only get to spend a little time with the ones that we love the most. I wasn't ready to accept that. But this is my life now. Without him. We had good times, better times than some people get in their whole lives. That's enough for me.